Have you ever heard a story that begins with a single mistake, a mistake so small, so ordinary, that nobody notices it until it destroys an entire family? This story is not about ghosts, not about magic, not about fate. It is about ignorance, carelessness, and the price that innocent people pay because someone else chose not to care for their health. So before you continue, ask yourself one question. What if one careless person had the power to change your entire life? Because in today's story, that is exactly what happens. The beginning of an unseen disaster. There was once a woman named Amina, a respectful, well-mannered, and honorable woman from a traditional family. Her life was simple. She loved her home, cared for her children, and trusted people easily. She never imagined that a single encounter could rewrite the destiny of her entire household. On the other side of the city lived a man named Rahil, a man who looked normal from the outside but was completely broken on the inside. Rahil suffered from a dangerous infectious illness, one he had caught due to his own reckless lifestyle. He moved from person to person, relationship to relationship, without ever thinking about consequences. He never went for checkups. He never took medicine. He never followed precautions. He lived as if nothing mattered. He believed, if I don't think about the disease, maybe it won't exist. But diseases do not disappear just because we ignore them. They grow, they spread, they search for the next innocent victim. The accidental meeting. Amina met Rahil by accident, in a moment she never could have predicted. There was a family event, a gathering filled with noise and people moving everywhere. She was helping with arrangements when she mistakenly came into close contact with him. It was not a meeting of choice, it was simply a situation that happened faster than she could understand. To Amina, Rahil looked like any other person. To Rahil, Amina was just another person who didn't need to know he was sick. He said nothing, not a single warning, not a single sign, and in that short encounter, something transferred. Something invisible, something deadly. Amina walked away unaware that a storm had already entered her life. The first signs. Days passed, weeks passed. Amina felt unusual tiredness, feverish nights, and moments where her body simply refused to cooperate. Her husband, Fahad, noticed her discomfort. Maybe you're overworking, he said gently. Amina agreed, because she had no reason to think of anything else. But the illness hidden inside her was growing silently, spreading through her body like shadowy threads tightening around her health. Soon, the inevitable happened. Fahad fell sick too. At first, it was small: headaches, fatigue, restlessness. Then the symptoms became stronger. What confused them both was that the timing was almost identical, one after another. The illness had moved from Amina to her husband, and neither of them understood how. The family begins to fall. When their children began getting sick as well, the fear finally settled in. Something was wrong, something big, something that could no longer be ignored. Doctors ran tests, reports came back, and the truth hit the family like a bolt of lightning. The same dangerous illness had infected all of them. Amina was frozen in shock. Fahad could not speak. Their children looked at them with frightened eyes. How is this possible? How did this even begin? Who brought this into our home? The doctors explained the nature of the illness, how it spreads, how it hides, how it moves silently from one person to another without warning. It was then that a small memory flashed in Amina's mind. That accidental moment, that unaware contact, that stranger she did not know was sick. Her heart sank, her hands shook, her voice trembled. It must have started from there. The weight of guilt. Amina cried for days. Even though she had done nothing wrong, the guilt crushed her like a mountain. She whispered to herself, if only I had known. If only someone had warned me. If only he had cared for his own health. But life does not rewind. It does not give second chances for prevention. Sometimes one careless person becomes the reason for another family's tragedy. Fahad's reaction. Fahad was heartbroken, but he didn't blame Amina. He knew she was innocent. He knew she had been trapped by fate, not by choice. But the pain of watching his family fall apart was something he could not escape. He held his wife's hands and said, "We will not let this disease destroy our future. We will fight it together." But deep inside, he knew this fight wouldn't be easy. The community whispers. As the illness spread through their household, neighbors began to whisper. What happened to their family? Why are they all sick? Something is not normal. No one knew the truth. No one understood the real danger. That this illness could reach any family, any home, any innocent person, if even one careless individual chose to hide it. The chain of damage. Rahil, the man with the illness, continued living the same reckless life. He still didn't care. He still didn't get treatment. He still didn't warn anyone. And because of him, Amina suffered. Fahad suffered. Their children suffered. Their entire family was dragged into a battle they never asked for. The doctor's words kept echoing in Amina's ears. This illness spreads quietly. It moves from one person to the next without warning. Someone in your contact chain was extremely careless. Amina trembled as she held the medical report. It wasn't only her life that had changed. It was her entire family's future, rewritten by someone who never cared enough to protect others. The search for the truth. Fahad, though shocked, knew that they could not move forward without understanding how this nightmare began. He sat with Amina one quiet evening, the children sleeping weakly in the next room. Amina, he asked softly, try to remember, was there any unusual moment? Anyone who looked unwell? Anyone who came too close? Amina closed her eyes, digging through memories. Then suddenly, a flash, a moment she had ignored, a face she had almost forgotten. That man, she whispered. The one I accidentally met during the family gathering, Rahil. She explained everything, the crowd, the accidental closeness, the way he looked pale and exhausted. Fahad listened silently. It wasn't her fault, he knew that. But the realization made his heart burn. One man, he said, voice tightening. One careless man did all this to us. The family's falling health. Days turned into weeks, and the illness spread deeper inside their bodies. The children's energy faded. Amina became weaker each morning. Fahad struggled to hold himself together as he watched the people he loved the most suffer because of a mistake that wasn't theirs. Medicine, hospital visits, treatments, it all began. But the hardest part wasn't physical pain. It was the emotional weight. Amina constantly cried at night. She blamed herself, even though she was innocent. Fahad tried to comfort her, but he too was losing strength. Sometimes he would step outside, lean against the wall, and let silent tears fall. He couldn't cry in front of his family. He had to be strong. But inside, he was breaking. The community's reaction. Soon, people around them began to notice their struggle. Some offered help, some judged, some whispered behind their backs. That entire family is sick. Something is wrong with them. Maybe they did something wrong. No one knew the truth. No one understood that they were victims. Victims of someone else's irresponsibility. Rumors spread faster than the disease itself. And Amina's heart sank deeper every time she heard someone talking. Rahil's ignorance. While this family suffered, Rahil continued living as though nothing mattered. He still met people, still hid his illness, still refused treatment. When someone asked why he looked unhealthy, he would laugh and say, just tired. He didn't care. Not about himself. Not about the people around him. Not about the damage he had already caused. He had no idea that one innocent woman, her husband, and their children were fighting for their lives because of him. The turning point. One evening, the doctor called Fahad urgently. He said that Amina's condition was worsening faster than expected. Her body was not responding well to the treatment. Fahad rushed to the hospital. Amina lay there, pale, weak, breathing slowly. He held her hand tightly. Fahad, she whispered, if something happens to me, take care of the children. His heart shattered. Don't say that, he cried. I won't let anything happen to you. We will get better. We will fight this, together. Amina closed her eyes, and a single tear rolled down her cheek. I never meant to hurt anyone, she said softly. You didn't, he replied. It was never your fault. Fahad's decision. That night, something changed inside Fahad. He was tired of suffering in silence. Tired of watching his family fall. Tired of being victims. He decided to confront Rahil. He tracked him down through mutual acquaintances, found his workplace, and finally reached the man who had unknowingly destroyed their lives. Rahil was shocked to see him. Do I know you? He asked casually. Fahad's voice was cold, steady, filled with pain. You brought illness into my home. Rahil froze. He looked away, avoiding eye contact. I don't know what you're talking about, he muttered. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Fahad replied. You were sick. You still are. And you didn't care. Your carelessness cost my family their health. Rahil didn't apologize. He didn't admit. He didn't even look guilty. Instead, he shrugged. It's not my problem. Those words hit Fahad like a knife. Not my problem. The breakdown. Fahad lost control for a moment, not with violence, but with emotion. His voice cracked. My wife is in the hospital. My children cannot stand without support. And you think it's not your problem? People nearby began to watch. Rahil became nervous, embarrassed, exposed. You should have taken care of yourself, Fahad continued. You should have warned people. You should have been responsible. Rahil had no answer. His silence was the truth Fahad needed. The fight for recovery. After that confrontation, Fahad didn't waste time on anger. He put all his energy into saving his family. He arranged better doctors. He followed every instruction perfectly. He became the strength his family desperately needed. Amina slowly recovered. Her body began responding to medicine. Her weakness reduced day by day. The children gained strength. Their smiles started returning. They held their parents' hands again with warmth instead of fear. It wasn't an easy fight. It wasn't a short journey. But the family moved forward with courage. The lesson they learned. Months later, when the family was finally stable, Fahad gathered everyone in the living room. We survived, he said. We fought something that could have destroyed us. But we must remember one thing. This happened because someone hid their illness. Amina nodded. The world becomes safer when people take responsibility. Their eldest child added softly. And when we care about others. The message to the world. The family decided to share their story with others, not out of shame, but out of hope that no one else would fall victim to someone's carelessness. Amina said in her message, if you are sick, tell someone. If you feel symptoms, get checked. If you think it's nothing, think again. Your silence might destroy an entire family. Fahad added, health is not a private secret. It is a responsibility. Your carelessness can break someone's entire world. The closing scene. In the end, the family survived. But they were changed forever. They learned that a single mistake, a single moment, a single careless person, can create a chain reaction that destroys lives. But they also learned that courage, honesty, and unity can rebuild what disease tries to break. This story is a reminder for everyone. Care for your health. Care for others. Don't hide your illness. Your truth may save someone's life.